Coffee Podcast. My name is Brandy Hofer. Thank you so much for being here. I have had 2 cups of tea. I'm vibrating. I'm only allowed 3 sips of coffee in the morning. 3 sips of my partner's coffee because if I have coffee, I literally, my eyelids shake, my hands shake, and I'm high for like 2 hours and then I crash. But I've had 2 red rose teas and that is enough caffeine for me. Too much information. Okay, in this episode, we have Leah Guzman. I know her from the Art Queens. Yeah, we are both in the Art Queens. It's an awesome group. It was founded by Katerina Popova. And it is the most loving group and that I have ever been a part of. And it's been really special. It's only been around for 2 years, I believe. And so it's just an uplifting community full of women. And I urge you to check it out if you haven't already or if you're not a member. There I go, pumping up the Art Queens again. This should be called the Art Queens Podcast. But Leah is a part of it. She also does a whole bunch of really cool like group work, and she has just written a book called The Art of Healing and Manifesting. I am looking at her oracle deck that I've ordered right here and her book, and we go over those things in the podcast because I don't know a whole lot about them, to be perfectly honest, and I'm honest the whole time in the episode of how much I do not know. But I believe I got pretty emotional when she pulled my card because it basically sums up my whole entire being. And the more and more I kind of have, started to believe in like energy and the universe, this is different for everyone, obviously. Some people have religion and they believe in God or gods or fate or intuition, like all those things. And I have always thought of myself as highly intuitive and obviously very tuned into my creativity. And really, the more I believe in it, the more weird coincidences happen. My mom had this thing about dimes, and I talk about this in my book that's coming out. I tell the whole story. But after she passed away, I swear to goodness that there are freaking dimes everywhere. In fact, my cleaner Wilma started collecting them and just called them dimes for mom. There's a whole jar of dimes. And the weirdest things happen. Like, I was just a best man in a wedding. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to welcome Aaron into the family, and the way to do this would naturally be a dime. I need to hand him a dime after I give the best man speech, and I need a dime. And I'm just like looking around and thinking, and I'm like, okay, just wait, Brandy. And then I go over to my handbag and I look and open up my wallet, and my wallet is completely empty. Except for on the magnet part where it, like the latch where it opens and closes, there's a dime stuck to the magnet of my wallet. That's it. No money other than this dime. And the wedding I was in was my mom's very best friend. So it was like she was saying, I'm here and I'm a part of this day and it's so special. I'm so happy that you were a part of this day long after I'm gone. It's just like those, honestly, that stuff happens all the time. And I'm learning a lot about manifestation and, when you say your goals out loud and you close your eyes and you meditate on them and just making and improving your life and asking for what you want, the more that I visualize the things I want and the goal setting, and the more it happens, just like solidifies how there's something else happening at play. This could be a podcast in itself. Should I maybe get to the real podcast? You're still in the intro, everyone. I have another really cool story. Of course I do. Thank you for staying. Thank you for your patience. My friend Jeff, who lives across the street, so he didn't believe in this stuff at all, right? And he wrote this book. It's called Clone Yourself. It's all about business management. He's done really well. I'm so proud of him. It's super cool to see your neighbor, like, it's like, oh, I just thought you ran your business and had all those kids. And no, you wrote a book. Wow. Sweet. Good for you. Didn't know that's what you were interested in. And we've kind of connected on that level. We sit down for coffee and talk about book writing and are super dorky about it, which is, I love it. But anyway, he's like, okay, so my wife, Tasha, is super into like chakras and manifesting and all that stuff. And he's like, literally, so he took a book course before he wrote his book. He's like, all I wrote down in this exercise that was part of our course was Forbes. Just Forbes. And his book was featured in Forbes. Like, what the heck, right? So if you believe in something enough and you feel passionate about it and you really want to go for it, I think giving it a go or just writing it down once, as Jeff did, you just never know. Okay, we'll get into this. So happy you're here and enjoy this episode. I can.
Leah Guzman.
There we go. Sounded way nicer. Thanks for being here. It's so fun to finally see your beautiful face and meet you, because we are interconnected through a bunch of creative women, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm so happy to have a chat with you.
I know. It's like when you meet these people that you've like connected with and made friends with online, and it's such a pleasure to like finally like sit down and chat, and it's so rewarding. And that's why I love hosting a podcast, because I probably wouldn't do it otherwise. Like I'm kind of a lazy friend. Like anyone I'm friends with, they definitely go the extra mile to like text and call me, and I like occasionally maybe do. So it's nice that the podcast makes me be more social, because I would just work. And I find personally as a creative that I have a hard time stepping away from work, like because I love it so much. Do you also have that problem?
Oh, yes. I'm obsessed. I love projects. I'm a project addict. That's what I call myself. If it's not one project, it's the next project.
It's 8 at once, actually, right?
I like that idea. Let's do
Yeah. Yeah, I can tackle that just to add it to the rest. Why not? Yeah. But you're a mother and a creative, so you're balancing that sort of life. And I feel like when you have a lot going on that you can, I don't know, I think it's like a way to push you harder to do more. Like people always say, like, want something done, ask the busiest person you know. And I genuinely believe the busier you are, that the more you can accomplish, right?
Yeah, because you appreciate the time, because you know that you have so much to do. And so it's like you look at time and you're like, oh, I got this little 15-minute, I got this 45-minute bubble. And you're like, what can I do? And you just really seize it instead of just letting it round around. And you get a lot done. Yeah, people ask me that as well. They're like, how do you do so much? And I was just like, I'm really good at time management.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And you're probably really good at finding balance too. Like not only like, applying yourself there when you have the time, but like balancing, mental health and all those things, because then you can't perform at those windows, right?
Yeah. And I only know that from being in a state, being in a place where I was low, right? Like being in a place where I was like, drowning, and then saying, hey, I never want to do that again. And,
and that's how life goes.
Yep.
Like a stepping stone or a building block, moving you where you need to be. And sometimes you need to learn it by feeling like a shit sandwich, for lack of a better term. But yeah, I hear that. I too have like, gone down that road, and I don't care to be back in the drinking wine, watching Vampire Diaries kind of weekend mode.
on a Sunday. I like where I am now.
Awesome. Me too.
Yeah. So good. Okay. So you have some like pretty exciting things happening. Clearly I'm excited because you showed me earlier, but you have a new book releasing, and it's your second book. What is your first book?
I'll just tell you, I actually have 3 books out. My
What?
first book,
Oh my gosh.
I made it when that was this low point. It's called Rad is Mad. My son was really little and he was really into monster trucks. So I wanted to create something to deal with my sad feelings, my sad and mad feelings.
Yeah.
So it's a children's book. It's about art therapy, and it's about this little monster truck who is crashing and bashing, and then he learns how to take care of himself so that he can be happy and shiny and have some friends. So that's the first book. The second book I wrote a couple years ago, and it's called Essential Art Therapy Exercises, Effective Techniques to Manage Anxiety, Depression, and PTSD. So that's more of my clinical side of helping people that, to manage their emotions, helping creatives deal with their mental health. And then my most recent book, which will be coming out any day now. I'm so waiting for the final stamp of approval and the print press happening, but I have a little cover here. It's called The Art of Healing and Manifesting, Creative Exercises for Living in Abundance.
Oh, I love it. I'm actually going to get all of your books right after we're done, because they'll sound like, number one, I have 3 little boys. So children's book, easy.
Yes.
Number 2, I like the sounds of all of that because, feeling good and accepting your lows and everything that goes along with that is like a mental muscle that you have to constantly be aware of and take care of. And, sometimes, and we weren't taught, and I'm sure we're around the same age, but like, it wasn't actually a thing. It was like, no, feelings, you just shove those down really far. And we don't talk about those. So yeah, it's just so important to have the right mindset and talk about it and help people. And you, through your journey, have decided to help people through ways you know how. So what inspired you to do this third book?
Yeah, so the newest book, The Art of Healing and Manifesting, it's been my work with clients, specifically with creatives who want to like show up, right? Show up in their own life, to manage their emotions, their mental health, but also to share their gifts with the world. And a lot of creatives get stuck in many different ways. They don't believe in themselves. They have low self-confidence. They feel lost. So the Art of Healing and Manifesting, it has specific techniques to help you get into alignment so you feel good. So I incorporate chakra knowledge because I'm really into the chakras and the color frequencies. So it has chakra knowledge, it has law of attraction, like manifesting techniques, and then my art therapy background. Like I use techniques to help with clients as well. So I look at your life holistically. And so each chapter is going into your life, whether it's your finances, whether it's your relationships, whether it's, you showing up and having that confidence. So it's really looking at each area of your life and to up level it. And it gives you those creative exercises to help you, dive deep, reflect, make art, be intentional with making the art so that you can see how it's going to show up in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. Do you want to talk a bit? I know nothing about chakras. Do you want to talk a bit about them? Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been into chakras. I had a lot of anxiety when I was going to like art school when I was in my undergraduate, and I would finally was able to get some healing with yoga, going to yoga classes, and they would talk about the chakras, and I was like, what are they talking about with the chakras? So I went to start reading books, and I was just really interested in that there's these energy points in your bodies. They're energy wheels. That's what a chakra means. It's a Hindu philosophy. There's these spinning wheels, and so they can get, if they're spinning at the right frequency, they're going to have that certain color. So each one of them has a certain color, but they have, you will feel good, right? Your body will feel in alignment. You'll manifest easily. You'll be in that flow. And we've all been there before. And the thing is, we get out of that alignment, and they could either be spinning too fast or they could be spinning too slow. Things could happen in our lives in a moment and we can get off balance. So it's about checking yourself And because you're going to feel it in your body. So that's why it relates specifically to like knowing your feelings, because each of the chakras relate to a feeling. They relate to, what is showing up in your life. And so the more that I learned about it, and like I said, I mentioned I do art therapy as well. I started seeing it in my clients' artwork. I started seeing like, if they're really, really anxious, or they're dealing with like money issues or having things like that, that's their root chakra, or they have family issues. There's a lot of red in their paintings. And actually bringing in that color is healing. So I even noticed it for myself when I was having that a lot of anxiety. I had like my house had like red pillows, I had red rugs, I had red curtains, and I didn't even realize that that was actually helping me to ground myself. And so when I actually eventually ground myself, use the different tools, because there's so many different tools you can use for grounding, to balance that chakra, that I no longer needed those colors around me anymore. And so I found that even my most recent series had a lot of blue, and that's all about my self-expression and communication. That's that throat chakra. So the more that I learn about it, I mean, I feel like it's a portal.
That is so cool. And I think you're right. Like, I think back to, like we said, I went through some lows in my life as well. And I talked about it with C, who is also in the Queens with Live, Learn, Dream, and I started crying. So I don't want to talk about it today, but because she brought it up and then all of a sudden it triggered something. But all those paintings were red. I never use red anymore. But like, and I'm like, why? I just don't want to. Like, I don't want to use it at all. And well, you can see behind me, they're all like blue and pink and starlight and magical. And it's so funny that, yeah, in that time, it was like red, melty wax, like hot, red, molten, literally molten, because it was encaustic work.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's neat, that connection, and it can be very cathartic, and it can be very, really healing, to make art with that. And so that's what the book's about. And, to release it so that you can get into alignment and manifest what you really want.
And I think, on that, like, I had no knowledge of chakras. So like, that was totally like a subconscious action. And I think, as a creative or an artist or a painter, however you express yourself, like, obviously I was connecting on a deeper level. I just didn't explore what that was at the time, but it's so interesting that it has come full circle to this moment. Wow. Yeah, that is neat. I want to totally learn more about it. Is your book an audio too? Are you going to be doing an audio version, or have you?
I love the way you think. Yeah,
come on, give it to me later.
I could do an audio version. There's actually interviews in the book. I interviewed several artists that I see them living in abundance, and kind of how do they heal with their art? How do they manifest with their art? So I have interviews in there. So there could be possibly an audio version. I do give specific directions. So I guess an audio version would work for that. People could just push pause and then make the art.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it'd be like a guided, or you could just guide them through. I know courses are really fun to make. They're just intense. But even a course, like a guided course too, would be really cool to take people through, your techniques and your therapy and because like the written word is great, but like hitting people at all those levels and connecting with them, I think is important too. And I think you obviously can pull off whatever you set your mind to. So
well, I do have a membership group. It's called Creative Soul Society, and then that's where we've actually been doing chakra sets, and that's part of the exercises in this book too, is creating a chakra with that intention. So yeah, I mean, I'm doing it. They just don't know that it's part of my book because I don't have the book yet. So we're going to be doing it again and again.
I know. It's funny, like how many times you reuse and you say something and you're like, oh yeah, that was in my book too also. And even on like a phone call with my sister, I'm like, I'm just gonna quote my book here at you. She's like, oh, she's probably never gonna read it because she's like, if I hear her say that one more time. Oh, but like it is all like, it's a part, each part is a part of you, but like sometimes it can sound or look different depending the setting you're in. So you have a membership. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's been almost 2 years now, where I wanted to meet in community and actually make art together and
Mm.
make art with people, because I'm always, when I make art, I'm always by myself. So I had started a Facebook group that, we talk about chakras, art therapy, healing art, law of attraction, things like that. And so I just started asking them, hey, do you want to meet, so we can actually see each other over Zoom? And I'll just give directions. And then I don't really teach, because I'm not teaching them how to paint. It's everyone's coming as an artist, their own style.
Mm.
I'll just give a direction, a theme, and then we'll just go around and talk, have that conversation about that theme. And at the end, we give, everyone has a chance to say, well, this is what I made. And that's it. And it's fun. So we meet 2 times a month for that, and we have a good time.
Oh, great. Yeah. I like that you've set up, because you said briefly there that you had something to heal from through in university.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to talk about that at all.
Sure.
But yeah, and then you've set up this space where, it's a safe place for artists. So I really love that you took something that maybe wasn't a good experience and you set it up so other people could have good experiences with their creativity, because I think it's really heartbreaking that through institutions that you pay and take, years and years of your life to go, and then it actually can be a negative experience and you can stop like so yeah, so thank you, that is so great. But I'd love to hear about yours.
Yeah, I'm so happy you brought that up, because, in college, I went to Georgia State University, and my background studio sculpture. And I actually took a year, and I moved to San Francisco because I really wanted to go to art school. My friends were out there and I just wanted to hang out and party. But
San Francisco seems like a fun place to be. So
I went there for a year, and I actually got into painting out there, and I had a really good time. But during this back and forth that I was doing, I had a lot of anxiety, and I think my art was just cathartic. It was helping me get it out. Not that I knew how to talk about it, so that's why the art was really good. And it was interesting that you mentioned you could have a bad experience. And I remember one critique that I had in San Francisco, and I was making these figurative sculptures, and one of the professors was, and I had mentioned I was going to move back to Atlanta. She's like, no, you can't go back to Atlanta. You're like a turtle in your shell. You haven't come out to find yourself, and you need to stay here. And it she didn't like what I had made that from whatever I had made. And it crushed me. I just remember her saying that. And then I came back, and I really never made sculpture again. I just continued painting, and I never even made that connection until it was a couple years ago. I was like, why did I stop? I could be making some badass sculptures right now. And I made that connection. I was like, it was that critique.
One person said one thing,
Yeah.
and and it affected the way you create and why, and you're at such a young, impressionable age that those things can impact you, and that can happen. And why have they set this up in these institutions? Second of all, where other 19-year-olds are critiquing your work in a group critique, what life skills or what opinions or what are they bringing forward, except for probably, and I know from experience, just competition. It's just setting this table up for competition, unless you have a magical professor who's encouraging support and whatever. There's such a thing as constructive criticism, but I'm sorry, this other 18, 19-year-old, 22-year-old, whatever they're going for and however they want to knock you down, shouldn't be able to comment on artwork. Because third of all, I don't know where I was, but third of all, whose right is it to say whether artwork is good or bad?
Right.
Why did she think it was her job to tell you whether your sculpture was good or bad? It's not her position. And she was in a position where she could say those things to people, which just blows my freaking mind. Anyways, it's clearly a sensitive thing, but I'm working so hard in my own community where in the fall we're doing an art academy, and I'm I want to empower young people to connect to their creativity, express themselves, heal, create a safe space, so they can take it into their lives and be happy when they wake up in the morning, because they know they'll want to keep doing with whatever they're doing. But those things wouldn't have come if we didn't have those experiences. And maybe you wouldn't be the same person you are, or creating a safe community for people. Maybe that wouldn't have happened had you not had the the other experience. It's like the balance of the light and the dark, right? You don't know what feels good until you experience the bad.
Yeah, I love that you made that connection, because I didn't even think about that. I was like, that is so important to me, to create a safe space. And I want people to share. Like, that's part of, I want people to talk in my group, and just whatever it is, whatever came up, whatever, just be open about it, be authentic. And I want everyone to feel seen, right? Because when you are seen and accepted, that's what feeds your soul. And I want everyone to feel good when they leave. Yeah, that's so much of my intention.
That's beautiful. I love that. I connect to it. I see that. And it's just, it feels so nice to talk to someone who is there. Okay, so I also don't know a lot about, do you call it a card deck, or?
It's an oracle deck.
Oracle deck, thank you. See, I'm just learning. I've obviously seen them in our creative groups, etc., but I don't know a lot about how they work, or, you design them, tell me about that.
Okay, cool. So a part of making my Art of Healing and Manifesting book, I told you I was a project junkie. So part of it is that I had this idea of, I wanted to make like a daily, something that you could pull from to get some inspiration or get some guidance. So the cards, the theme of it is either you might need some healing work and it'll give you a little directive, or you might need just like a manifesting tool. So, or an affirmation. So that's what the cards are. So there's different types of cards. There's tarot decks is more like archetypes. So this is not a tarot deck. This is oracle, meaning that you're calling for something. It's going to give you like a reading. So the way I designed them is, as you can see, there's a rainbow here.
Oh, they're so pretty.
Thanks. So on one side, it has the writing, and it goes with like the chakras. So each has the theme of the chakras, which goes along with the book. And then on the other side is my painting. So they have just different paintings that I've done over the years. I don't know if you can see that one has a moon.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I just kind of it was kind of interesting, because I never knew if my art really related to the chakras, even though I've done so much chakra work. And then this was kind of like my aha, putting it together. Like, the themes that I've been working on really do reflect. And that made me really happy.
Yeah.
Pull a card for you?
Sure. Yes, please do.
Okay. I'm going to pull a card for you. Let's see. Ooh. You get the sacral chakra card. So this is just a really simple design. This is the flower of life. That means everything's interconnected. And the sacral chakra is all about abundance and joy. And it is your birthright. Everything you desire is coming in divine timing. You can have it all. So your affirmation is, I am abundant. I am open to receive. My emotions are my ally. I am creative and adaptable. I release what no longer serves me.
Oh my gosh, that made me cry. That is so nice. It's literally my goal in life. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that pretty much sums up what I'm trying to do. So
you're doing it. It's here.
It is. It is. Every time I have something happen, I'm like, I'm already doing that.
Yes.
So why? Thank you.
Welcome. Just affirmed it for you. So it is.
I just rubbed stuff all over my face. That's okay. This is on YouTube, but my 4 subscribers won't mind. So
they don't mind.
They can also see my Coors Light that I'm drinking during the day. It's a hot tea, but it does look like a beer. We talked about it earlier. But I just want to confirm I'm not day drinking, and now I have black mascara running all over. Yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and that was actually, speaking of stay-at-home parenting, that was one of I had a bit of a run-in, and I have spoken about it, and we're speaking about it again on the Queens. We're going to have in April, using your triggers to find your fire and clarity and create your mantra. So that she said to me that I shouldn't sell art. This person that I met with, like another art professional who like reps to galleries, she said, you start with the fact that you paint with your kids, like that's what you're doing there. She's like, that's cute. Okay, that's cute, I guess. She's like, but you really need to take the word artist off your website, and you should think about like probably from your Instagram, like getting some partners and collabs and selling like diapers and wine. And I was like, I sell art from my Instagram. I sell art. I'm an artist. Just because I paint with my kids actually has made my art more open and more powerful and more beautiful than it ever was before. It was good, but now it's like, wow, because of their freedom and their openness, and it has allowed me to be more free. I was like, that is what I see as a power, like not my downfall or a flaw in what I do. But it's like, she just didn't see me. And everything that she said, a lot of stuff. I did record it in a podcast, and I called it I Am Pissed, because I was pretty mad.
Wow, you gotta record it. That's even more.
I did. I made sure, I was like, I need to capture this fury, because I actually did. It gave me the gift of clarity. I was like, everything she said that I couldn't do, like, galleries won't take you on. They'll see all you're doing and they won't take you on. Like some stuff like that. And I was just kind of like so confused, because I'm like, I already am represented by galleries. Like, what is happening right now? Like, I think I was just perplexed in the like a deer frozen in the headlights. And so it actually gave me a little bit of a voice, like something to fight for. So thank you, mean lady.
Yeah, and definitely show her the new mural that you're going to be making, and all the work that you've been doing. You have to send her an email, just like blast her. Be like,
I don't think I will email her. And someone's like, aren't you worried she's going to see? Like, I'm like, this is how not nice she was. I actually don't think she'll care or ever visit anything I do ever again, or hear my podcast. So no, I am not worried. But I am going to use that to help uplift other women and creatives who have had similar experiences, just as you did with creating a safe space. I want to, this person said that to you, that fucking sucks. Get mad and do something about it and prove them wrong. And not just to prove them wrong, but to, be confident that you can. And I wouldn't have created my own mantra, and I wouldn't have done I wouldn't have been inspired to speak about it on the Queens and, ask for things. So yes, it was a negative experience, but it was so much more than that. And I want others to take those and, take the bull by the horn is the worst reference. But that's awesome. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. And of course I talk about that in my book as well. So
so when is your book coming out? When is yours coming out?
That's a good question. I don't know. I want it to really come out in April. The realities of that happening, who knows? I've never self-published or done anything, but I'm trying to get everything all lined up. Yeah, along with the 135-foot mural and the Art Academy. But I've been writing it for 2 years almost, and I'm like, I want it out there because it's special and it will help people, and we'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Lots of people have figured it out, so I can figure it out, or hire someone to.
Yes.
Right.
Get support. Yes. Open to it.
Yeah. Okay. So people can do you want to say what both things are called one more time and where they can get them?
Yes. So the Art of Healing and Manifesting Creative Exercises for Living in Abundance. The book is going to be on Amazon, and it's going to be on my site. It's currently on my site right now. And then the Oracle deck has the same name. It's called the Art of Healing and Manifesting Oracle deck. And this is going to be on my site. And my site is leahguzman.com.
Okay, perfect. Lovely. Do you have anything else you like? Because people can join your community. Do they do that also through your website?
Yeah. So it's called the Creative Soul Society. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good name. I like it. Perfect. Well, let me know if there's anything else you add or that I forgot or.
No, this is it. I loved our chat. I think it's what you're doing is really, really powerful. And I really appreciate that you have me here. We had this conversation. I got to know you more, and I'm excited to watch your journey.
Oh, ditto. I'm like going to get all of your stuff because it's really powerful. And you know how, what was I listening to? Jen Sincero. And she's like, I've listened to all of them and I've read her books, but I decided I haven't listened to the first one that I read. So You Are a Badass. I don't know if you've read them.
Oh yeah, I've read them.
Yeah. So I read You Are a Badass, but I was like, I might as well audio it because it's just different. It's a different experience. And it's like, it's just more power. And she's like, she talked about like, manifesting and gratitude and abundance. And she's like, I just thought it was, I don't think she said hippy dippy bullshit, but like that's what I thought like years ago. I'm like, that's a bunch of weird stuff. And literally I have connected to it and connected to so many females. And then I started listening to these books and I've been practicing it now for like almost 2 years. And I'm like, this shit works so well. And it's like, I feel like a different person and the best version of myself. So it's not bullshit. It's like the magical connection to the universe. And it works. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but it works. And so people can, say that all they want, or, I can just be like, that is the other version that didn't believe. And now I do believe. And it's so funny because like my son this morning, he's like, so the leprechaun's coming on St. Patrick's Day. And I was like, no, there's no leprechaun coming. I'm so sorry. He's like, what is the point of St. Patrick's Day then? Because, they do believe in magic still and Santa Claus and all those things. And I was just like, it's something invisible. So, but of course they get presents. So they're like, what is the point if the presents don't appear of this magic? But it's kind of the same thing. And you're not doing it to get things, but it's being the best version of yourself, practicing gratitude. And then you're just kind of a magnet and people want to be around and support more joy. Like it's just the bonus to feeling good. I don't know. How would you describe it? I know we were saying goodbye. This is my problem, but how would you describe it?
I would say it's the embodiment. It's the embodiment of what you want and how you want to show up. So if you want joy, you just show up with joy, right? If you want success, you show up as successful and you just embody what you want. You want love, you are the love, just share it and it's going to just come right back to you. So it's getting into that alignment of, who you are, what you are, and then realizing if you have any blocks, limiting beliefs, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you got to do the inner work. But then you can show up and it'll show up, right? And that's what the beautiful is. It's like a big experiment. That's how I like to look at it. I'm like, well, let me just try this. And then you're like, oh my God, it actually worked.
Yeah, I know our washer broke and my husband's like, oh, you're going to have to. And I was like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. It'll come. And that day I sold a painting, which was exactly what we needed to fix it. I'm like, do you believe in manifestation now?
Do you believe in magic? Yes.
He's like, I do. I'm like, but you don't. But it's so funny because, you can't tell people to do something. They have to figure it's their journey and their path. So it's when they decide to choose to want those things for themselves and to, do the work, the inner work. And you can't be like, you should listen or read this. It will change your life. They have to be like, I have some things in my life that I would like to change. And now I'm showing up to do that. So, of course, we can tell people all they want how awesome it is. But hopefully this will inspire some people to be like, okay, this sounds like I'll drink this Kool-Aid with those ladies and see how it works. And get those books. I am, because it's just, I just cry out, like now I'm just crying happy all the time.
Oh,
So it's so
you had the
good.
perfect card. You had the perfect card. I don't know where
I
I put
know.
it in the deck somewhere, but you had it.
I know you have to send me a picture, but I'll get my deck, but you'll have to send me a picture of that so I can just like
I will.
have it forever.
Yay. And put some orange in your paintings, the
A
joy.
nice memory. Yeah, I will. I don't put a lot of orange either, which is I might know. Who knows?
Maybe a little touch. So just so you know
Little
it's there.
touches. There's like that's kind of orange, but that's my kids now dictate what happens on the back. So it's funny. Yeah, like cuz they just dump it all. And that's the magic
Oh,
behind those people. But I like the magic. I love it. Okay, so good to see you. I have pork and it smells almost done in the oven.
awesome.
So or maybe two done. Who knows? I'll find out. So nice to meet you and talk with you. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon at some point or time.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. I sure do appreciate you being here once again. I thank you for your time. I have a big announcement I finally can share, and I'll share it some more because it's super cool. And I finally can share one of the big things I've been working on. I saw my friend Leah on the street the other day, not the Leah you just heard, but a different Leah. And she's like, Brandy, to be perfectly honest with you, I genuinely try to keep up with what's going on in your career, and I cannot. I know. My sister said that to me the other day, so I get it. But I have to keep sharing because I'm doing the stuff. So it's not like I can wait till a year later and be like, oh yeah, so by the way, I have a show, you should see it. No, it has to be like before the show. I do have other things coming up. We are working on it. We are the tea is kicking in. It's kicked in. It's so kicked in. We are working on our Taylor collection. We are also launching a group exhibition through our BHA gallery. It's called Like a Mother. It's really cool. We've got a lot of great applicants, so we're putting that collection together. And the Taylor collection is showing with PXP Contemporary Gallery. Huge deal. So grateful. Thank you. But my big news, right? Squirrel. My big news is we are starting an art academy in the fall through our local public school system, LPSD. It is for grades 6 to 8, and it is super special because I 100% believe that today creative skills are more valued and more needed above anything else. Creativity can heal. Creativity just makes you think outside the box. It increases emotional intelligence. It's just genuinely good for you, number one. So when we think about how time has gone by and the things we've learned over the past couple of years is that self-care is of the utmost importance. So I'm super grateful that I have always had this outlet. However, I would love to share that gift with others and have them connect to that part of themselves. And that doesn't just mean painting or drawing or working in that way. It means writing. It means expressing yourself through photography, videography, anything. So I would say with the way the world is moving, that those are more applicable in today's society than ever before. And why aren't we teaching that to our youth? Anyway, I said that a lot. I said that a lot for a few months. And then finally, I said it to the right person. And then all of a sudden, I had an interview with the head of the school board. and it's just funny we talked about manifesting and all those things. And if you say things enough, you better watch your mouth because things can happen that you do not expect. I did not expect this to happen, but I'm really grateful that I can, be involved in my community in this way and really be that special person for these children. I remember those individuals who were few and far between in my life who told me I could, who saw, because I struggled in school in a lot of ways, in a traditional curriculum system. My brain worked obviously in a more creative way, and it just was like walking into a wall constantly. Like I And I remember those individuals who saw me for who I was and took the extra time and got to know me and saw me thrive creatively. They actually changed my whole entire life. Okay. So I'm just so excited about being that person for the youth in my community, because it's so important that they don't give up that part of themselves. And it's at the age, around 12 that, that people are told they can't do something and they usually give it up. And then they like retire and they're done they're at 60 and they're like, oh, I'd love to take up painting. I love painting. I've always loved painting. I loved painting as a kid. But for some reason, here's math skills. What's 12 minus 60? 60 minus 12. 48. Yeah. 48 years later, they get back into something. And why did they give it up in the first place? You know what? I'm going to talk about this more. It's so important. I will. Thank you for being here once again. I really appreciate you being here all the time and supporting what we do and what we're about. Because, again, creativity, we just need more of it. All right. Have a great, whatever day it is, whatever time of day, and we'll chat soon.